It's the Steve Tanzer edition of State of Play. Steve is a writer with DelawareLiberal.net, and this week we talk competitive races in the General Assembly this November, which could really make for a very short segment. Not a whole lot of competitive races. Not a lot of races really where there's any contest.
That's right. There are 11 Senate races, state Senate races this time, only 6 of which are contested, and out of the 41 legislative districts, all of which are up for election this time, only 18 have a competitive race, meaning both a Democrat and a Republican in the race. I mean, that's well less than 50%.
Kind of disappointing from a democracy standpoint that there isn't more candidates.
Right. I mean, usually there are more than this. I mean, when you look at gerrymandering, reapportionment, and this time there didn't seem to be as much of a concerted effort on the part of the parties to get people to put their names on the ballot, even after the individual filing deadline had passed.
Let's get to some of those races that actually do have 2 candidates running. Let's start with the 1st Senate District, longtime Democratic Senator Harris McDowell against Republican James Spinola. McDowell safe here?
I think so. Spinola is one of the best Republican recruits this cycle. However, he's a Newark city policeman who says he pioneered the hug a cop, which is probably easy to do when you're talking about, drunk fraternity people down in Newark. However, he's a Republican. He's actually running far to the left of normal Republican talking points in an overwhelmingly Democratic district. The district basically runs from North Wilmington all the way up Philadelphia Pike through Bellefonte to Claymont. Overwhelmingly Democratic edge. McDowell in the last 2 years has been one of the people who has been able to get funding to create that transportation center in Claymont, which really could be a deal changer for Claymont. I think Spinola's in the wrong party at the wrong time. So I think McDowell is safe. Spinola would also, I believe, have to resign as a policeman in order to actually serve. Supreme Court has issued an opinion saying you can either make the laws or enforce the laws. You can't do both. So that would be another issue with him.
Okay, another Republican challenging a longtime Senate Democrat, former WHYY producer, now University of Delaware employee Meredith Chapman, taking on Democratic Senator Dave Sekolah in the Newark area.
Right. It's western. It's north of Newark in general, a North Star, some of Hockessin, and it does get down into a portion of Newark as well. And this district is probably the most competitive of the Senate districts. But Sekolah's numbers have increased each time in terms of his margins of victory. Chapman is viewed as the most successful recruit that the Republicans have done, if not by me, then certainly by the Republican Party themselves. It's always been a competitive district. She is a former WHYY commentator, she's a reporter. She is director of digital communications at the University of Delaware. Sekolah is one of the more progressive legislators, although he has run afoul of some of the education people who feel he's a little bit too supportive of some of the governor's positions. That's a competitive race. I give Sekolah the edge, but that is definitely a competitive race.
All right, let's switch over to the House quickly. District 33, south of Dover, an open seat after the August death of Representative Harold Peterman. So where are we going for this one? This
is really, the district doesn't seem to really care who they elect because they actually elected Peterman twice when they knew that he was not physically able to do the job. Peterman did pass away. 3-way Republican primary. Charles Postal's won it. He says he'll be the only full-time farmer in the Delaware General Assembly. The Democrats have gotten a really good recruit here. She's a high school social studies teacher. Her name is Karen Williams. But she has all of the Kent County bona fides as well. Long, lifetime Kent County resident, wraps herself in her church, the flag. This has always been a competitive district. Bowers Beach, a little bit of Felton, and a little bit of Milford. It's probably the most likely district to flip, but it's not as if you're going to be replacing somebody on the extreme right with someone on the extreme left.
All right, and then finally, as our time is slipping away, there's a little bit of a chance for a competitive race back in the Senate that is not a race yet.
Correct.
Explain that.
Well, Bethany Hall Long is a state senator, and she will almost certainly be elected lieutenant governor, meaning her seat will be then decided in a special election, most likely not until March, because technically she can serve as a state senator until she's inaugurated. which won't be till the second or third week that the General Assembly is back in session. And then there's a 6-week break for the Joint Finance Committee. So that's certainly, especially if the Republicans win the Sekolah seat, they're only one away from getting the majority. That will be an exceedingly competitive seat.
So the election campaign season continues. He is Steve Tanzer, DelawareLiberal.net. Always interesting and entertaining. Thanks so much for being here. We'll talk to you again.
Oh, my pleasure.